Hi, welcome to this module. I think we're up to G, right? Module G. Anyways, in this module, we are going to be looking at markets. We're going to be looking at how firms make decisions when they are at neither one of the extremes. One extreme that we have looked at was pure competition. And pure competition, there are lots and lots and lots of competitors all selling the exact same thing. And since you're all selling the same thing and you're all small compared to the big pond, to the big ocean, you basically take whatever the industry price is. It doesn't make any sense to take a price that is higher than the industry because you won't get any customers. Everybody will have all the other firms to go to. If you charge under the industry price and you are a small player, you are going to be overwhelmed and swamped with business. Okay, so in a purely competitive marketplace, okay, the price that you get for your product is given, right? At that price, you can sell as much as you want. Because even if you reduce the price by a tenth or something like that, everybody will buy from you. So you can sell as many products as you want. That's the extreme of your pure competition. In that case, all your products are completely the same, and there is no differentiation amongst the vendors. Right. The last chapter we dealt with monopolies. In monopoly, you are the only one selling your product. Okay, and as such, you are the industry. So when we think about what the industry price is that they're selling to consumers, it is whatever you choose to make that price. The decision as to what the price is when you are a monopolist is a management decision. It is your management decision, right? Now, having said that, you can have a high price, but nobody will come knocking on your door because although you can set the price whatever you want it to be, you can't force consumers to buy from you. Okay? Different prices will have different quantities that you are able to sell, right? And the line that talks about quantity sold and price is that good old-fashioned demand curve. Right. So, where are we at today? We're at scenarios where there are few firms that do the same product, or we are selling products that are differentiated from other folks, but we're the only one selling this particular version. But as other people are selling other versions of the product or something that is different as a substitute, okay, we are in an environment where what we can do is going to be dependent on what the other players are doing. Okay? The two structures that we're going to talk about in this module are monopolistic competition and oligopoly. Oligopolies are when we have small handful of firms that are all selling the same product. But unlike pure competition, okay, each company is relatively big, okay? And each company, if my company were to lower its price, it would impact the other people in the industry. in pure competition, I'm such a small player. If I lower the price, it's not going to impact anybody, right? In oligopoly, what I choose my price to be will not just impact my sales, it will impact the competitor's sales. And the competitors may choose to respond to my price changes by making their own price changes. My behavior influences them, their behavior influences mine. Okay. That's oligopoly, a small number of firms selling basically identical products. Okay. What's an oligopoly locally? Well, let's talk about maybe um, hardware, door hardware, or things like that, building products. In our area, there are two very major firms, Lowe's and Home Depot. Okay. The products you can find at Home Depot are almost always identical to the ones that you can find at Lowe's. Lowe's and Home Depot sell the same products, they're not differentiated. However, if we see Home Depot lowering its price, you're going to see Lowe's. Home Depot lowers its price. Lowe's has to go back and revisit its decision as to how it wants to charge, what it wants to charge for that product. They may choose to lower the price as well, or they may choose to say, you know what, let's keep the price high and we will sell whatever we can after Home Depot sells out of their product, right? Okay, so that is an illustration of what is called an oligopoly. In an oligopoly, you have game theory that applies. Game theory is how do firms play against each other? Okay. If you think of Home Depot saying, you know what? Let me raise my price by 30%. And then let's see what Home Depot does. Maybe Home Depot will say, you know what? Lowe's just raised its price 30%. I think we were selling it for too low. Let us raise our price 30%. We will let Lowe's be the leader and we will follow. And again, we will sell at the same price, but both of us will end up making more money, right? In which case, the two of you have decided to cooperate. Okay. One thing that could have caused that cooperation to be even better, but illegal, would be if the president of Home Depot and the president of Lowe's get together and decide to fix the price fixing, where they basically get into an agreement amongst themselves that they're not going to compete against each other. They're going to figure out what price they want, and then both of them will agree to raise the prices. What price will they probably raise it to? They will probably raise it to the price that a monopolist would have chosen to maximize the profits of the industry. Right? Now, I want to be very careful here. Price fixing and talking with your competitors about what your price is and is going to be and what one firm should do versus the other. Okay? That's illegal. What's not illegal is some game playing and testing things out. If I raise the gas price on my gas station by 30 cents, is my competitor going to do the same thing? Let's try it and see. And if the competitor raises its price by 30%, hey, we didn't have to talk. If our competitor doesn't raise the price by 30 cents, well, then maybe I'll come down. Actually, I might come down even further and say, if that guy doesn't want to, cooperate and wants to play dirty, okay, well, I'm going to undercut him and see what that feels like, right? Make him see what that feels like. For the most part, things like that are legal as long as there is no implicit communication that goes back and forth. The main thing you need to be able to do is be able to defend that there is a rhyme to the reason, and you made this pricing decision because you thought it was in the best interest of your company, right? Anyways, that's oligopoly. A sort of related topic is going to be the chapter on monopolistic competition. Okay. All right. Your professor has a hard time saying it. Monopolistic competition. All right. In monopolistic competition, you have a product that only you have. Okay. Now, there are other firms that have products that might be similar or might be a substitute for your product. But when it comes down to your particular product, nobody makes it. Maybe a good example of this might be in the restaurant business. Either high-end restaurants or, we'll do fried chicken. We have a number of fried chicken places, right? We have KFC. KFC has its original recipe, which is a little bit spicy, but not hot spicy. But I don't know what the secret recipe is. But KFC chicken doesn't taste exactly like Popeye's chicken. Now, Popeye's chicken has a different formula. It tends to be more New Orleans style. Read that. You can get it spicy, right? With sides like red beans and rice and so on and so forth. Okay. Where, KFC might be more and, their own mashed potatoes, right? And then you have another company in Church's, and their recipe is different than even the other two. I would say theirs is crispier in some ways. Their breading is a little bit more crispy. So we have multiple stores that sell into the fast food area. But there's only one store in Kingsville that sells KFC chicken. There's only one store in town that sells Church's fried chicken. One store in town that sells Popeyes. And I said each one of them is actually the only producer. So they are a monopolist in their specific product. Now, what one of these Kentucky Fried Chicken people do will influence the other two. Let's say all of a sudden there is a sign outside of KFC that says, quote, Wednesday special, eight pieces for $2.99, which is an extremely good price for KFC chicken. And what will it cause to happen? Well, some of the people who normally would have thought about going to Popeyes might drive by there and change their mind. The demand curve in Kingsville for Popeye's chicken may have been shifted because of the availability of a related-ish product, KFC, being much cheaper, and all of a sudden you've got people moving over. You've got a shift in the demand curve caused by KFC. So KFC can change where the location is of the demand curve for Popeyes and churches. And churches can do the same thing. Lo and behold, you could have somebody else change, right? A burger place, Big House Burger, shuts down. All of a sudden, the people who normally would have bought dinner at that start looking for alternatives, and some of them will choose to buy fried chicken. Okay. When we look at the structure of a firm in monopolistic competition is really exactly, the math looks exactly like the discussions in the monopoly case. Given what we have seen from other firms, if they don't change their behavior, each place is going to do their analysis based upon the tools that we learned in the last chapter about monopolies. That is how the math will work. That's how the graphs will work. All right? Now, thing though is that only works if everything else in that town stays stable. As I mentioned, if KFC has a huge special on its chicken, all of a sudden the demand curves that the others were using either to the right or to the left. Right? Okay. Anyways, so that's called monopolistic competition. Because one of the things you are sitting there is, yes, you are a monopolist, but there are a lot of, your behavior is going to influence the others. Okay. Anyways, that's kind of those are the things we're going to cover in this chapter. In both cases, it's sort of like a game. Why? Because your behavior is going to influence the others. Their behavior is going to influence you, and you may go back and forth until everybody gets to where what we call equilibrium, where everybody is good, that their actions are the best actions given that everybody else is doing what they're doing. Their actions are the best actions given what you are doing as well as everybody else. When you get to that point, okay, you have reached an equilibrium. That is the end of the game. That's what this game is going to eventually roil out to. Okay, so what we will be doing in addition to talking about these two different issues is we're going to start talking about some game theoretics. We'll talk about the prisoner's dilemma in your readings and so on and so forth, because there is a theory of how games are played. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this chapter. Okay, and as I had mentioned in the very, very first week of class, okay, for those of you who did not like macroeconomics, it was a lot more wishy-washy. It was more like weather forecasting, in your opinion. Okay, those types of people to enjoy this thought process of how do you deal with these game theories? How do you deal with oligopolies? And how do you make the best management decision for each individual firm, right? And for those of you who really enjoyed this, you may have hated macro. If you really enjoyed macro, you may very well not like what microeconomics has turned out to be, which is in these chapters. Okay, with that, there'll be readings that'll be posted, and we're getting toward the end. I know you guys are busy. I'm not sure whether I'm going to put homeworks up because I know that in all your other classes are starting to get swamped. But anyway, if you want homeworks, please send me an email. And by the way, in the back of your books, if your professor doesn't tell you, you have to answer the questions in the back of the chapter. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to. Okay? So please, if answering the questions and thinking about the questions in the back of the chapters make you understand the material better because it makes you think, go for it. All right? You don't need the professor's blessing to look and try to answer those questions. And in most cases, when you get the right answer or the wrong answer, it will become obvious to you that you either have to go back and restudy or, yeah, I've got this. And if you want, just email me. Say, hey, I've got this question. I tried to do these problems and I just don't get it. Well, fine. That's what I'm here for. Right? That's what I get paid for. All right. Well, enjoy module. I guess we're in module G. And I'll talk to you at the end of this module. And we'll do one more test. And then take a look. ABC. I have to say what the last of the tests, the quote final, will replace the lowest, the last four regular tests. So the midterm replaced the lowest of the first four. The final, which will cover the material from the midterm on, will replace the lowest of the post-midterm module tests. Okay, with that, we'll talk to you in a little over a week.